Welcome to another episode of An Old Man and a Frying Pan, where we learn to cook for ourselves and just have some fun in the kitchen. Today I'm going to cook a chicken pot pie, and what I did is I went out to the store and I bought a chicken, threw it in the oven, seasoned it the way I like it, salt and pepper or whatever you want to do, just put some butter on it, and cooked it, and had it for dinner last night with some vegetables and potato. But I took the leftover, and what I've done with it is stripped it of its meat and turned it into a chicken pot pie. It's an easy thing to do, and you get, in today's world where chickens aren't selling for $5 anymore, you want to stretch it out as far as you can. And then from the leftovers of the carcass, I made a chicken soup at the end of the video. So follow along with me as best you can. It gives you some thoughts and ideas of what to do with the chicken when you get it home. Thanks. And remember, hit that subscribe button. I'm in the process of cooking chicken pot pie, so I've got my onions, celery, and carrots ready, and I've got 2 cups of chicken and 1 russet potato all chopped up. The chicken comes from I cooked last night and I had some for dinner, and then I've taken the leftovers and taken all the chicken off it and put it into here, and we're going to reuse it for our chicken pot pie. Once I get this into the frying pan and cook for about 5 minutes, I'm going to add the potatoes and the chicken, and then some chicken stock, about a can full of chicken stock. And then once that's got the potatoes cooked, I'm going to add the thickener to it in order to thicken up the sauce so that it's cooked and ready and thick for the pie. Okay, I've got the carrots and the celery and the onions sweating away in the pan, cooking until they're translucent. Give them a little stir. And then I've got the chicken stock ready to go to pour in when it's time, but it's not time yet. Okay, the celery, carrots, and onion are cooked down for about 5 minutes, and they're looking good, so I'm going to add the stock to it. I've added the chicken and the potatoes to the pan, and I've added the stock, and now I'm going to bring it up to a boil and let it cook for 10 minutes. I added a little more water to it, and it's starting to simmer now, and I put the timer on for 10 minutes. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes, and I'm just going to go ahead and add the thickener, which is flour and butter, and then I'll add the cornstarch. Okay, here's the flour and butter. It's about a 1/4 cup of flour with about, I'd say a couple of tablespoons, if not 3 tablespoons worth of flour in it, or butter in it, sorry. Okay, the flour's in and it's starting to thicken up, so I'm gonna go ahead and add a 1/2 cup of milk with 1 teaspoon of cornstarch in it. There we go. So now I gotta give this a stir. Okay, so the cornstarch and milk's in. You can see it's starting to bubble. Pretty thick right now, and as soon as it gets thick enough, I'm going to turn the heat off and just let this sit and rest and cool down so it can be ready to go into the pastry. Okay. I'm letting that thick up for a bit. I just tasted it, and it doesn't need anything. It's got quite good flavor the way it is. I've added 2 cups of flour to a food processor, and I've added 1 cup of butter, and this is to make the pastry for the chicken pot pie. However, you can go ahead and just buy a frozen shell at the supermarket, so you don't have to go through this. Okay, so you can see the pastry's come together, so I'm just going to dump it out and put it together, and then cut it into 2 pieces and flatten it out a bit and put it in the fridge to rest for a bit. Okay, here's the finished pie all ready to go. I got the oven preheated to 400 degrees, and you can see by the edges there, I'm not fantastic at styling the stuff, but it's tasty. Now, the next thing I got to do is just take a bit of milk and a brush, and we start brushing the pastry. Okay, the milk's been brushed over the top. It helps it brown better, and in it goes for 50 minutes. Okay, here's the completed pie. It just needs to sit and cool down for about 15 minutes before I can cut into it and give it a taste, but it looks really good. So what I did with the chicken carcass is I put it in water with an onion and some celery, and I boiled it for an hour, which is going to give me a nice broth for some chicken soup. Now for the soup, I chopped up some fennel, a little bit of fennel, and I've chopped up some celery, but I happen to have the tops of the celery left, and a little trick for flavor is to put that in your soup, and it really adds some nice flavor to the soup. So I picked off the chicken carcass, about a half cup of meat, and I've now placed it into the pot, and we're going to let this come to a simmer, and then I'm going to add some spaghetti noodles to it, and I'll have a nice little homemade chicken soup. So I hope you enjoyed that video. Just a couple of notes is to make the thickener, when you just take the flour into a bowl and you add some butter to it, and you take a fork and you mix it up, chop it up so it's kind of crumbly. That's what you use when you're putting into the chicken pot pie, so that it breaks apart and helps thicken the chicken stock. The milk and the cornstarch is simply milk with 1 tablespoon of cornstarch in it, or not tablespoon, it's a teaspoon, and just mix it up, dump it in, and again let that cook until it thickens right up. Once that has thickened, that's when you just turn it off, take it off the heat, and let it set to cool, because you have to make sure that when you're adding the the filling to the pie, that it's not hot, otherwise you're just going to melt the pastry and ruin it. So actually I stuck mine outside for a little bit with a cover on it, and then the next thing you know, I had about 2 dogs at my door looking for the food. So it was a bit funny to watch, but a little scary at the time. I didn't want to lose my chicken pot pie. So again, remember to subscribe, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks.